Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rao, out of Nacogdoches, Texas. How many of you know where Nacogdoches is? Quite a few hands. So I'm here to talk about my move to Nacogdoches, how it personally affected me, my family, and what are my learnings of going to Nacogdoches and my last 3 years at Nacogdoches. So I'm here to talk about our EHS folks here, about my experience with going to a small city like Nacogdoches. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Tim Russell for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Tim. And that's yes. I'm sorry I messed up your hair. So Tim called me about 10 days ago, exactly 10 days ago, and said, hey, I got a great idea. You're going to go up, talk about your learning at Nacogdoches in the last 3 years. And when he hit me with this, I thought about it and said, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm going to talk here. But it really made me step back and look at it and think how it affected my family and what kind of learning I had in the last 3 years. So having lived in bigger cities like Phoenix and Philadelphia, really. So quick personal background of mine here. I was born in India, raised in India, finished my mechanical engineering in India, moved to this country, went to LSU to finish my master's in ergonomics and safety. Out of school, worked for Intel, then went cross-country working for Tyco Healthcare in Philadelphia. Then I had this opportunity with the company that we can't use the name. So it was great. I have a lot of my family in the South, so was very excited to go to Lumberton plant. Did some good things at Lumberton. Great team. The plant was in the middle of a lean transformation. So lot of leveraging lean with EHS, really driving continuous improvement activity, risk reduction at the site. Of course, the site was recognized for year-over-year improvements 2 years in a row, and the best site in the US at the time, in 2010. We really embraced the Choose Zero methodology there. We closed 2010 and 2011 with 0 recordable injuries. Now, on the pro side, the site made, on the negative side of it, the site was making transformers. And it's a pad mount transformers. And we all remember the housing bubble in 2008, right? So the business was flat, and it came to a point where the site has to be shut. And at that point, Darren, my SRM at that point, asked me to go and audit Nacogdoches. And fortunately, it gave me 4 days at this new site, just learning the systems and how they're doing. And at the end of my audit, plant manager called me into his office and said, will you be willing to join my team? So recognized a lot of challenges as I was there, and the key thing was HR was doing most of the safety work, no true EHS person at the site since its operation, beginning of its operation, and site safety program was very foundational. So a lot of opportunities, but it didn't deter me because professionally, very easy decision for me because I know that product I really am passionate about is going to that site. I want to see it successfully launched, and I know the knowledge of the product, and not many people from this site were willing to go to the new site. So I took it personally. We just had a 2-month-old baby, so my wife was not working. She had no plans to work for the next year or so, so it worked out great. Company was willing to work with my move date and made the move. Now, going into Nacogdoches, the first thing when I came to know about the potential opportunity at Nacogdoches, I started looking at where Nacogdoches is. So I opened Google, hit Nacogdoches. Of course, I spelled it wrong, and the Google crashed on me. But that's Nacogdoches, 3 main streets. That's pretty much the city. And when it comes to McDonald's, I got some options. One Chili's, it's the only chain restaurant, and it took about 10 years for Walmart to come into the city. So pretty old city, also called as Naco Nowhere. It's the oldest city in Texas. And that's our historic downtown. Hasn't changed for the last 100 years. Of course, sometimes they change some bricks on the brick road. We have Starbucks, which was important. So, now, this is the piece I love. I lived in Philadelphia where I can see my office less than half a mile. It took me 25 minutes to get there. Here, 6 miles, less than 10 minutes, and I can pick my coffee on my way with that 10-minute ride. So I love the fact that that's my rush hour traffic. So now we do have a small mall for everyday living and all the little everyday needs we want. We have huge malls in Houston, Dallas, less than 2 hours from where we live. I have a Stephen Austin University where my wife is currently employed. Great state university, about 9,000 people enrollment, international. A lot of outdoor activities in the area, a lot of fishing, a lot of lakes, and of course we have the best medical care 2 hours from us. Hopefully we never need it. So I want to wheel you guys into the plant culture and the surrounding culture of the plant. So that's where our plant is. We make pole mounts and pad mount transformers. Our neighbors are mainly the lumber, poultry, and gravel. It's common sighting to see those truck drivers on phones, so please don't follow them. And that's a normal practice up from our neighbor up a little north of us, and a lot of poultry. So we have chicken processing plants, we have chicken feed mills, and hatcheries. So truly very little traditional manufacturing background to draw upon talent. So recognize the cultural challenges, and it's not sophisticated for the area. You walk in, one thing I recognized was mainly the culture was, okay, you leave with 10 fingers, you have a safe day. Duct tape is the most used tool in our toolboxes, followed by hammer. So it didn't surprise me in my first week where I have to spend 3 hours with Mr. Tim Russell talking about why somebody thinks it's perfectly fine to take a pail of blue paint and dump it in front of the lawn. So, I mean, a lot of firefighting, saw my opportunities, and to what Hal said yesterday, I had to really think about this and think about the firefighting piece of it and go back for the last 5 years and start putting together a kind of a risk strategy plan. And what we did is basically we looked at the plant and we said, okay, what are the things in the last 5 years where we're seeing our losses, loss analysis basically, and how do you approach this? Because we can't have a plan for the whole plant. We need to break it down to a level where we can digest it at each individual section of the plant. So we started focusing more in those lines. And what went into this plan, of course, this is a third revision of the plan from last year. The focus areas, we put the focus area each year. We started making rapid improvements in those areas. 2011 was pads, into 2012 was coils, and now it's last year was tank shop. So the key thing was really putting the time aside, getting with your leadership team, getting with your employees who knows the risk, down to your group leaders, operators, and putting together that plan. And the first year, of course, was a lot of firefighting still with this plan in place. It's defining our process better. Like Hal said yesterday, we had a lot of gray in between. Small black here, small white. So how do we get the gray smaller and smaller? Focusing on those basic things of improving your orientation process to improving your JSAs, work instructions, so forth. And then in the second year, it's a lot easier to hold accountability and get the buy-in from how do we drive these actions into individual Apex goals, and how do we leverage with all the lean going on at the plant. So fortunately, we are at this third year stage right now. I'm able to stand here and say we stabilized our process, and we're looking at more standardizing and focusing on layer process audits and so forth. Again, our site this year is a focus continuous improvement site. So a lot of leveraging with lean. So we're trying to use our continuous improvement teams and really empowering our teams to fix the issues to see and tie all these things into the risk reduction and how do we celebrate our risk reduction. So that's where we are. Again, the strategy stayed the same. How we leveraged it with the operations and support was a key thing here. Now, this is my favorite slide. So we had about 8 OLPs or developmental interns go through our plant, and they took some great positions within the company. And we have a lot of highly skilled veterans in the plant. And in my 3 years, I was able to wear hat of plant manager, production manager, engineering services manager. So a lot of opportunity to jump into other roles and learn the positions and understand how can you better support them, right? That picture is my favorite. So the person in the middle is my guy who wrote my wastewater permit 20 years ago. And every 6 months, when I have to fill my DMR report to the city, I go pulling my hair. Why do I have to test for 50 different things on my permit when everybody's testing for 15 different things? So I went to Mr. Henry and asked him, Henry, why did you do this to me? So Henry goes, Rao, I had no formal training. I was given a table, and I was asked to take some things and put it in your permit. To be safe, I took everything. So 20 years from now, I'm still living with the same things. So there's some legacy issues that you just have to deal with. On a positive side, the last 3 years, we were leveraging with our continuous improvement teams and really driving the risk down in the business. A lot of effort went into sustainability piece of managing the business, engaging employees. So all that shows in our reduction of recordable injury rate to less than 1 last year, which was the best year the plant had in its history. So really proud of being part of the team there. And we also did a lot of stuff to align ourselves with operations, like reducing waste, water usage, fork truck traffic, and $500,000 in cost savings driven from the EHS function of the business. So again, what did I get in my last 3 years at Nacogdoches? Mainly, I was able to go into a plant or a factory where there was no pure culture example and start making a cultural transformation at the factory. Managed compliance programs in 3 different states. At the same time, I was also working on the Lumberton, closing the Lumberton factory, where it was kind of a 1-year project. We've closed the Lumberton factory with no injuries to any employee at the Lumberton factory, no injuries at the Nacogdoches factory or to the contractors in the whole process. Was able to wear different hats, understand the functional responsibilities better. Again, a lot of things there. I'm not going to bore you guys with that, but the key thing is it's a small city, and going in there, I was able to go up outside my comfort zone and learn the other functions of the business. Here is my HR pitch to you guys. We have some openings right now at Nacogdoches. We're looking for a HR manager, so if anybody's interested, or not just Nacogdoches, guys. I mean, if there is an opportunity out there, don't be afraid to take it. If it's a small city, and if it's going to position yourself better in a developmental position where you can learn other things, my pitch here, guys, is basically take it. Now, from a family standpoint, it was not always a smooth thing. There was a lot of ups and downs. 1 year into my transitioning into Nacogdoches, my wife now wants to start working, and she's an IT professional, and I thought IT jobs are everywhere. I was very wrong. So it took her about 2 years to find a job, and now she is employed with the Stephen Austin University. She's having a blast. She thinks that she has the second best boss in the entire world, because Tim already took the first best boss. And I have a 3-year-old who has a Texas accent now, and was really able to make a lot of friends and family. So, I mean, I'm having a blast at Nacogdoches right now. So, in summary, it's a small town, it's experience, you have to live it to feel it, and professionally, definitely a great developmental role for me. It made me step into areas where I'm not comfortable and really understand the piece of business better. That's it. Thank you.
Any questions for Rao? I'm really pleased your daughter could learn to speak Texan, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a question over here. Oh, John.
So good question, John. So with the Lumberton closure that took place about in 2011, and the performance of the plant dropped a little bit in 2011, and the main reason for that is having the leadership team that's aligned and is focusing in the same direction. So as we were able to build that into 2012 is where we started seeing a huge improvement in our safety performance. But to be honest, 2010, when I took the Lumberton, when we closed Lumberton, moved to Nacogdoches, we had some issues of managing change and bringing stuff into the plant. Fortunately, it didn't result in recordable injuries, but it's a tough learning process.
Thank you, Rao. And our final presenter is Brian Livesey, who is from